Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Saturday Show, and it is another Saturday edition as well. I'm just sorting my camera, apologies for that, but yes, welcome to the show, to another edition of the Saturday Show. I'm your host, Carl, as usual. No Doug again today. He's at a special event just down near Edinburgh Airport. It is actually Comic Con Scotland, so Doug is away with his dad. He's got an early pass. He'll be meeting a lot of stars, especially from the res industry, from all of our favorite TV shows and films, vice versa. So Douglas is away, unfortunately, but I'm here as usual. We'll be discussing a lot of things about the situation with Manchester United. If is will Ten Hag be sat after this weekend? Has been question arising of his future. We'll talk about the British clubs round UEFA roundup as well, and along with the whole nation squad announced for the upcoming Nation League games. So just to go with the announcement, we got all the games today. Later on today, Liverpool are away to Crystal Palace, Arsenal at home against struggling Southampton, Wolves away to Brentford, Leicester at home to Bournemouth, Man City at home against Fulham. We also have West Ham against Ipswich, and in the 5:30 kickoff, Everton against Newcastle. And in the Scottish Premiership today, Dundee at home to Kilmarnock, Hibs are against Motherwell, and Dundee United face a trip away to Paisley to face St Mirren. And in the English Super League, only one game in the 12:30 kickoff between Brighton and Aston Villa. And we've got some early games in the English in the EFL Championship. But it's a local Lancashire derby between Burnley and Preston later at 12:30. Hull face a trip away down to East Anglia to face Norwich. Portsmouth is still not winless at the moment. They're home to Oxford. Sheffield Wednesday face a trip away to struggling Coventry City. Derby against QPR later on today. Blackburn face a trip down to the West County to face Plymouth. Sheffield United home to Luton. Stoke away down to the Valleys to face Swansea. Watford home to Middlesbrough, and West Brom against Millwall. And in the EFL League One, we got Huddersfield against Barnsley in another Yorkshire derby at 12:30. Stevens face a trip away to Peterborough. Bolton at home to Shrewsbury. Bristol Rovers go away to Burton Albion. Charlton against Birmingham. Exeter against Cambridge United. Leighton Orient face a trip away to Lincoln. Manchester United at home to Blackpool. Reading go up to South Yorkshire to face Rotherham. Stockport against Wigan, which is a local derby in the Greater Manchester area. Wrexham against Northampton, and Wycombe against Crawley. And in EFL Leagues 2, Fleetwood at home to Bromley. Doncaster face a trip away down to Grimsby. Accrington Stanley against Morecambe in the local Lancashire derby. Barrow at home to Cheltenham. Walsall face a trip away to Chesterfield. Carlisle away down to Colchester. Crewe at home to Gillingham. Tranmere head down to Milton Keynes later on today. Notts County at home to Port Vale. Salford against Wimbledon, and Harrogate going down to Swindon. And in the National League, we've got some key games as well. Rochdale go away to Ebbsfleet. Two former Football League clubs between Barnet and Boston United play against each other. Forest Green away to Eastleigh. We also have Such United away to Hartlepool, two former EFL clubs. Oldham at home to Solihull, and York playing in 5:30 against Woking. In the Scottish Championship, we do have Partick Thistle against Livingston later on today. In the Scottish Leagues 2, it is Edinburgh City at home to Stranraer, and Spartans face a trip away to Clyde. And going into Sunday's games, before the international break, it's a big game tomorrow between Aston Villa and Manchester United at 2 o'clock. Chelsea at home to Nottingham Forest, and then the final game of the before the international break in the Premier League is Brighton at home against Spurs. In the Scottish Premiership, Celtic face a trip away up to the Highlands to face Ross County. Hearts go away to unbeaten Aberdeen, and Rangers in the 8 o'clock kick at home to St Johnstone. And also in the EFL game between Bristol City and Cardiff as well. And then in the final games in League Two, which is Bradford against Newport County, that rounds up all the weekends either English and Scottish games. So let's go on to start off with the situation at Manchester United. Will Eric Ten Hag be sacked after the question arises of the future of Manchester United? It's been a very poor start for Eric Ten Hag. There's been questions about his future regarding, this post that he's had, and especially the last two full seasons. Yes, he's won two trophies, but the board might not see its major trophies, such as the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup he won last season against Man City. But there's been questions about his future as well, completely after a poor defeat against Spurs on last Sunday, and also a tough, a difficult draw against Porto when Man United were 2-0 up at the Stadio Drago in Porto on Thursday, and then they went down to 10 men as well. But I think it's a decision that is questioned with Jim Radcliffe. So Jim Radcliffe at the moment, but I think we'll see what he did say, and this is what he said early on today. Have a listen.
All the pressure on the manager. You said to me earlier in the year, we've got to be patient, it's going to take time, look at the environment. Do you have faith in Eric Ten Hag?
I don't want to answer that question. I like Eric. I think he's a very good coach, but at the end of the day, it's not my call. It's that management team that's running Manchester United that have to decide how we best run the team in many different respects. But that team that's running Manchester United has only been together since June, July.
Yeah.
They weren't there in January or February or March or April. They've only arrived. Omar, Dan Ashworth, they only arrived in July.
Sure.
So they've only been there. You can count it in weeks almost. They've been there a long time. So they need to take stock and make some sensible decisions. I mean, our objective is very clear. We want to take Manchester United back to where it should be. And it's not there yet, obviously. That's very clear. So there's work to be done.
So that was from Jim Radcliffe, from the Manchester United co-owner, talking about, it's not his call to sack Ten Hag. I think there's a lot of issues going on with the club for a while, for years, and this is the thing. I think you can see, so the tactical decision from Ten Hag to substitute Rashford at the end at half time, when probably was one of their best players on Thursday, as somehow they could have lost 3-2, and then the audacity of Bruno Fernandes getting sent off with that blatant again in the second red card in less than 5 days is tremendous. He got his ban reversed his reversed in the game against Spurs for his bit of a clumsy tackle, but he didn't meet her. But in a way, it's a bit surprising he did something like that again, where he keeps cool. But when luckily slabhead Harry Maguire gets that equaliser to save his skin just about. Listen, they're going into a critical game against Aston Villa. Aston Villa, we'll talk about more in a bit. They had a very good win against Bayern Munich, winning 1-0 after 40 plus years of the last rematch, when Bayern and Aston faced each other in the final. A goal from the late Gary Wall, who unfortunately died this past few weeks ago. But you question of how can. I think if you go back to the summer with the uncertainty with Jim Ratcliffe coming in with Ineos, they didn't know what was going to happen. Ten Hag had a lot of uncertainty in the summer until the club did trigger a 1-year extension in his contract. Look, at the moment it's a lot to question as well, and we need to look at the stats. Always you look at it, promises start, then a decline as rivals outperform him, and his record. I look at his record at the moment. Ten Hag is not the same as Klopp and Arteta of the rolling points total. Ten Hag's points from the past 38 games is about 50, way below, about 57 points for the past 38 games, compared to Klopp and Arteta. Klopp has 130, and Arteta's 129 points for the past 38 games. It just shows where he's struggling, especially with the points against his rivals and others, and against less opposition teams. And you can look at the points per game between the past previous managers as well. When I take my rolling average, Solskjaer has got 1.3 points per game. Mourinho 1.6, Ten Hag 1.3. So there is a bit of inconsistency, that has been real up and down since Sir Alex Ferguson's retirement, which is really surprising. It's but it's a similar situation with the same situation again and again and again. And also goals, has been a problem as well. Man United conceded, you know, loads of goals. I think they've conceded at least 120, the 120 the goals scored, but they've conceded 109, which is very, very, very concerning. Man City, they've scored 204 goals since Ten Hag has joined, and they've only conceded 73. And same with Arsenal, 77 as well. Arsenal in high, nearly into the low 190s as well. So there's a huge concern, really is. Man United's I've got the worst, second worst, well, probably the third worst goals conceded compared to, well, probably the top five, actually, looking at it. Everton's got the worst goals conceded since Ten Hag has joined. And it's been difference with the XG and XG against. Man United XG goal difference has been 4.39, which is quite low, which is quite low compared to Man City. They've got 100.7 goal difference since Everton had joined 2 seasons ago. So it is a huge worry with that one. And the biggest gap to the championship points when they're not being champions to the Premier League, it's minus 35 is the highest gap where Man United's points were gap to the Premier League champions in when Man City won in 2021-2022 season, which is a huge, huge deficit. And also the spending. Ten Hag spent a lot more than they spend a lot more, but if you put the other managers combined, they spent more than £500 million more than him, but he spent £645 million, and it's a huge worry. It really is a huge worry as well. I don't know what he can do. I think it's a question of what the board does after tomorrow, and the question of what's going to happen with who they get in, because you got split like Gareth Southgate, Graham Potter. It looks like he's been linked with the job as well. Thomas Tuchel's still available. I think Man United have got a lot on their plate to make this decision, because at some point it has to be what's right for the club. Especially that uncertainty did not help Ten Hag or the board this past summer, especially of the long-waited decision. If you compare to what happened with Louis van Gaal when he was in a situation, he won the FA Cup in his final season. They knew there was going to be certainty that he was going to be sacked, and then a few days later he did get sacked, and Jose Mourinho came in as well. So there's a lot of issues that's going on at Old Trafford, and I think it's going to be a long time to fix. And would they get back to their best? Probably not. I don't think they will do it in time, because you've got teams like Man City and Arsenal. Are really probably the title challenges for the next couple of years. Liverpool under Arne Slot. I don't think they will get there this season, but I think there's a chance that he will be. The next, will be at some point in the next year too, completely. So give time to it. But I think for Man United, it's going to be an issue going forward for them for the rest of this summer, for the rest of the season as well. Let's go on to the British Clubs UEFA Roundup, and I'll say it's been a bit of a historical week for some certain clubs who will be playing in Europa League, in the Europa Conference League and the Europa League. But let's start off on Tuesday night, and Arsenal winning 2-0 against PSG. Really good win. Arsenal did have a lot of possession, but yeah, I have to. What I've been told, goals from Kai Havertz, what I had from him, and Bukayo Saka. Arsenal fooled PSG quite well, and they got their first win in the new Champions League format. I have to say PSG had their moments, but Arsenal were more clinical, and I think you can see that after. It looks different so much. At the moment for PSG, what's going on with their situation. I know there was questions of Dembele not playing. He refused to play. There's been a bit of a fallout between him and Luis Enrique. But yeah, it was actually a good deserved win for Arsenal to show their maturity earlier on today. But I think PSG is a work in progress because of this situation now post killing Mbappe as well. So yeah, it's going to be a long time for them to try to overcome that as well. Let's go into the other games on Tuesday night as well, the other British teams as well. Just to get this up a second. Yep. So, a disappointed result, 7-1 defeat again for Celtic. They lost to Dortmund away. This is Brendan Rodgers' third high-scoring defeat in his European career manager career at Celtic. I have to say, Dortmund looked very clinical. They looked very, very clinical than where I thought they were going to be. And it was a good result. So I think for Celtic, it's a lot of work to do after they won the first game 5-1 against Slovan Batasar, early on today. So, matter to the fact, Adami go from Kerry Adami scoring a hat trick in the game. But like I said, it was 5-1 by half time, and there was no way that Celtic could claw themselves back into the game as well. So disappointing result for them as well. Also on Tuesday night, a good win for Man City as well. They win 4-0 against Slovan Bratislava. Took both goals from Godwin, Foden, Haaland, and James Matty. Very good performance from Man City. Phil Foden scored a goal and got his assist as well. Very huge for him for that. Especially he struggled to find his form from last season, but that was just he made the most of it on Tuesday's game. But City hit the woodwork 3 times, so I think City was very clinical, especially going away to Slovakia. But a good result for the citizens completely. Going on Wednesday night, and we'll talk about a historic win for Aston Villa, winning 1-0 against Bayern Munich. Goal from John Duran as well, and really good game. He came off of the bench again to score again. He actually lobbed it over Marouane, who came out of his position. And listen, Bayern Munich really struggled. I think Harry Kane didn't look at his best as well. There was questions about that. Look, after from 2 years ago, look at what Unai Emery has rebuilt. He's doing his small changes. The motto is prepared for Aston Villa. They may not show it in the badge, but I think he's learned the way of how they're being prepared for that club to make that small but massive changes that has really got the club back to where it is a foot in. And it was really a tight affair, but like I said, Villa getting that historic win after so many years not being in Champions League since the late the 80s, a huge win for them and fantastic for Unai Emery and for Aston Villa to get that win as well. Liverpool had a good played well, winning 2-0, but Bologna had its chances in the game as well, but Liverpool did get the win through McAllister and Salah. Really good wins for them to get, for Arne Slot's first Champions League win home match as a Liverpool manager. Again, 8 wins from 9 defeats. It's really good for Liverpool to try, to start well this season, But I think Bologna had some good chances. They're no mugs, Bologna. So give credit for what they did, and don't be surprised. They will try to be one of the teams that could get. Maybe not into the automatic top 8, but probably in at least in the knockout stages to get into the last 16. I think they will be thereabouts come the end of the season, end of the format, the new format as well. Let's also look into Thursday's games in the Europa League as well. A win for Tottenham away in Hungary. They're playing against Fenerbahce to win 2-1. Goals from Sarr and Brennan Johnson, who got the winner in the 86th minute. But Spurs made it from 2 victories from 2. I think they played a very useful side as well. They had a lot of chances, Spurs, but they did well in the game as well. So give credit to them as well. Also Thursday's games as well. Historical moment for Northern Irish club Lane again, and TNS, the new Saints, and the new Saints losing 2-0 to Fiorentina, which everyone thought it was going to be really, really a high scoring defeat, but they really did well to they held Fiorentina for nearly over an hour till Fiorentina scored the 2 goals. But give credit to give credit to the New Saints. They did quite well to get that to play quite well against a very Fiorentina side who have really had chances to win the Conference League last season, but they struggled as well. So yeah, I think it's a really good win for that. In a good, even though it's not the best defeat, but for them, they got to lose 2-0 is not a bad thing, and I think they will be proud of how they perform as well. Lane, the first Northern Irish team as well, unfortunately they lost 3-0 to Molde away from home. It was 0-0 by half time, but until the 50th minute, Marius Ekstrom scored as well. Ekstrom scored as well. Yeah, but listen, those 2 teams, they've kept the score down to really minimal standards. It could have been a lot more, could have been worse, but they got give fair play to them for how they competed in the game. Really is as well. Man United, talk about a 3-3 draw. They were 2-0 up at half time. How can you squander a 3-2 lead after that? I just do not know. So it's a huge worry for them at the moment. Listen, if you're a Man United fan, are you able to? Can you recuperate from it? Time will tell. It will be telling. Rangers going down, losing 4-1 to Leon at Ibrox in the third, as well. I have to say, Leon looked really impressive. I think, and Alexander Lacazette scoring 2 goals in the game. Yeah, it just, I know Rangers are trying to bounce back from everything with the slow start and everything what happened in the summer. I think there is an issue of Rangers being prolific up front, and I think that's been the issue at the moment in the European games. I think listen, they got 5 games left. Still a lot of work to do. We'll see on that one as well. Going into the other games as well, the European games as well. Chelsea winning 4-1 against Ghent in the conference, 4-2 against Ghent in the Conference League. Really good, goal, debut goals for Renata Wenger, also as well. Pedro Neto scored one over Nkunku and Dewsbury Hall, but yeah, Ghent also did try to come, did get a goal back in the 15th minute, but in the 90th minute. But Chelsea was so strong and they played quite well, quite well. Not a surprise, it really isn't. But yeah, Chelsea don't need Cole Palmer at this moment in time because he's not in the squad because they want to manage these games. But yeah, a really good a good win for Chelsea. After a bit of a slow start for them as well. Finally, a win for Hearts after sacking Steve Naismith over a week ago. A winning goal from Jan Dander. I'll just be right back. I have a package to deal with. Don't go anywhere. Hi there, apologies for that. I had to give a package away to the postman, so that was just a brief intermission as well, just because I didn't know what time it was going to come today. So, but going back on this, a good win for Hearts to go to Dinamo Minsk. I know it was a very eerie atmosphere because the Dinamo Minsk Belarus team that is UEFA have stated that they can't play any games in Belarus due to the links to the Ukraine conflict at the moment. So they had to play it in Azerbaijan behind closed doors. But yeah, Hearts went down 1-0 through Alfred in the 21st minute, but they did get a goal back through Polatovic own goal in the 37th minute. But Jan Dander came off the bench to score the winner as well. Look, as a Jambos fan, I have had a bit of concerns of a slow start. We had a poor end to last season. We had a poor pre-season, which has led up to the poor start to the season as well. To get that first win, is just to get a bit get the monkeys off our backs, which has been concerning. So I'm glad that we get that winner. But look, Liam Fox, he's the interim manager. The last 2 games he's not played any of the new signings at all. So it's not a huge surprise of what's been happening at the moment. But look, the Hearts have got a situation. They're going to have to choose the right manager. They also got a future. What happens if there's going to be any investment regarding with Tony Bloom, the Brighton over if he puts his £10 million investment into the club soon, at some point in the next couple of months. Will he have a say on the philosophy and the values that what Hearts should be doing? Probably yes, because there's a lot of work needs to be done at Tynecastle. It's been very struggling as well. So I think there's a lot of issues needs to be rectified completely. And I think, look, Hearts have got a big game tomorrow against Aberdeen. Aberdeen have had a really 100% unbeaten start to the season as well. So there's a lot of issues needs to be done from a Hearts perspective, to try to get their first win in the Scottish Premiership this season, because it has been a poor start. And look, will Lee Fox get the job? No, I don't think so. I don't think he'll be the right man. But we need to get the right man that's going to fit the identity what Hearts wants to do, because we've got a big squad. I just think in the way certain players like Byron Mackay should not be in the squad. He had a poor game on Thursday night. I'm not going to lie, when I watched it, I think Jan Danda made that difference. To make that difference with how the way he holds the ball up, and his positional play and his positional style as well. So yeah, I think that there's something that needs to be changed completely as well. I really do. There is just maybe that's all the European games that I've discussed about. Yes, it is. So that's all the British clubs. We've discussed all the British clubs as well. The only mention I'll give is to Shamrock to get their first points off, with a 1-1 draw against Applewell on it as well for Thursday for certain Irish clubs as well. Right, let's go into the Home Nations squad announcements. We'll start off with England. And England, this is their squad announcements early on as well. So Dean Henderson and John Pickford, Nick Pope are the goalkeepers. No return for Harry Maguire. So Trent Alexander, Levi Corwell, Matt Gray, Izzy Konsa, Rico Lewis, Johnson, and Kyle Walker are the defenders. In the midfield, Jude Bellingham's back in the squad with Phil Foden, Conor Gallagher, Morgan Gibbs-White, and Adrian Gomez keep their selection. They keep themselves in the selection. Kobe Mainoo, Cole Palmer, and Declan Rice makes up the midfielders. And up front, Anthony Gordon, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Naomi McAdre, Bukayo Saka, Bukayo Saka, Dominic Solanke, and Ollie Watkins. Dominic Solanke makes his first England makes a return to the England squad for the first time in 7 years after his first cap as well. Yeah, listen, there could have been other selections coming in, such as Jadon Sancho. Fortunately, he couldn't get back in, but he's had a good start as well. I think again, Lee Carsey is really making it a point to prove. He's making certain good selections. He said he's not going to be one of those paste and copy managers, unlike Southgate is the favourite. He decided to make that difference to the selection to bring Jude Bellingham back. He's not been in the squad since the Euros as well due to his injury. But yeah, it's a good squad for Lee Carsey. I think Adrian Gomez and Morgan Gibbs-White looked really good, decent in the last 2 games against Finland and Republic of Ireland. I think they'll go again. I think he's been happy with their performances. So I think, yeah, this is another good balanced squad again for Lee Carsey as well. Let's go to the Scottish squad. We see here as well that we do see, Lawrence Shanklin getting his first goal of the campaign after last weekend. But Che Adams had a good start to his career in Torino with Scott McTominay. Yes, but so Craig Gordon is surprised that he's included in the squad against Croatia and Portugal as well. We'll see Nicky Devlin in the squad as well. Good start for him at Aberdeen. Other selections as well. Ben Doak is actually is in the squad as well. Billy Gilmore is in there as well too. Yeah, another good selection squad. I think it's the questions of against two good decent teams, can they even pick up some good decent points against Croatia and Portugal? We will see it later on today. Looking at the Welsh squad as well. Unfortunately, no Ethan Ampadu. He's out with his knee injury. He won't be back until December or January. So Joe Allen has come out of retirement to be back to be part of the squad against Iceland and Montenegro. Lewis Kumas is in the squad along with Brennan Johnson and Harry Wilson, and also Danny Ward is the goalkeeper along with Adam Davis and Carl Darlow as well. Looking at the Northern Irish squad, they've made their squad's announcements as well. Listen to the bit I did. Trey Hume is in there. He's had a good start. With Sunderland last night as well. Josh McGuinness, Jamie Reed and Karen Marshall in that squad as well. Yeah, no other surprises as well in the Northern Irish squad. But yeah, that is all the squad announcements, and we will talk about them during the international break over next weekend as well. Let me go to the hits and misses of the week. I have to start off with the misses of the week, and I'm going to show this image here. Is the goal that was a mistake from Elan Messier yesterday when we were Leeds drew 2-2 against Sunderland. Here's my reaction.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
That is my reaction on that one. Listen, I was really surprised. Listen, I'm not gonna defend him. I can't defend what Messier did towards the end. Even with his reaction was not, especially with his reaction when the ball was deflected and it spun in front of him, when he was trying to move where the ball was going to be originally, and the ball went spinning around, spun onto this right hand side, and he missed it completely. I think there's a lot. I think the comments I've seen from Leeds fans, even at least from myself, have been way over the top. And I'm gonna let me just think what I'm gonna say here, because I think there's a lot of issues going on, and I think a lot of Leeds fans are blaming Messier for this and that, for the mistakes. Give me a second. I'm gonna just get my phone, and I'm gonna discuss pretty much who's been the goalkeepers before Messier. Give me a second. So I'm going to bring up the goalkeepers that I've played for Leeds, and I was reading this last night quite well. So since let's go back probably up to 2017, and I'm going to read this out. So, and this is what I sent to my friends last night actually. So the goalkeepers we had previously before Messier come in. Since 2017, we had Andy Lonergan, Felix Vildewald, Bailey Peacock Farnell, Kiko Casilla. The less more say about him, that racist bastard himself. Elan Messier, Danny Van der Huel, Christopher Clausen, Joe Roberts, Carl Dowler, Alex Kearns. Only two of those players have played less than 5 games, which is Clausen and Van der Huel. And I was saying this to my friends that, yes, Messier can be is at fault for the goal. Okay, we were 2-1 ahead. We were close to finish the game off. That was probably the worst howlers of all time. Along with, it can be up there with the Man United goalkeeper Tassibi as well. But I think everyone expects this perfectionism of footballers, expects to be 100% perfect and not make mistakes. We are all human. We're all going to make mistakes. Bloody hell, I was, me being autistic, perfectionism is my weak points. I was trying to be 100% perfectionism when I used to work. And since I've taken early retirement, I've realized that I've seen the bigger picture about life itself. We're all not perfect humans, but we all expected goalkeepers to be like stance, behind the sticks and make all the saves all the time. Even the great goalkeepers like Eden van der Sar's made a mistake. Alisson's made a mistake. Even the past goalkeepers like Gary Spark made mistakes as well. So why is this criticism is so overboard and vile? I do not know, and I think people need to look at reality itself. If you can name me a better goalkeeper that can do better than Mezier or even play with Leeds, tell me now, because I don't get this criticism's too much. Do you know what? Mezier is probably has made the most appearances of all the Leeds goalkeepers for years. Probably more than Casper Ackeren, Paddy Kenny. Look, when he came in, he came in to replace Casilla, because look at what happened with Casilla when he came to the club. He made so much prone errors in that Leeds squad. He got sent off against Bristol City. And also, he was at fault for certain goals. It was against Brentford. There was other teams as well, like Watford and Derby. Even Bailey Peacock-Farnell was the last Leeds Academy goalkeeper to come through the academy to be the number one goalkeeper, to be behind our stakes. He threw his toys out the pram because Bielsa wanted to give him more. Bielsa didn't want to give him more games. There was a question about his distribution, and Peacock-Farnell threw his toys out the pram and left the club. And then we brought Meslier in on loan originally. And then especially what happened with the situation with Kiki Casilla and Jonathan Leko, that scandal when Casilla was racism and he got suspended for 8 games. Who came behind the sticks? People was glorying about Meslier's, that performance against Arsenal in the FA Cup when we lost 1-0, but he was so fantastic, to keep Leeds in the game. And then since then, Messi has gone to broken records. He was the youngest goalkeeper in the Premier League, not just for us, but in the whole of the Premier League. He broke Joe Hart's record to the youngest goalkeeper to have more than 10 plus clean sheets. He's made more clean sheets than the last few years than any other Leeds United goalkeeper we did have in the past. I think the criticism is way over the top. I can't defend his mistake. It's on him. He's got to accept that the criticism from certain people, but the criticism above is way too vile. It's too vile, and this is why I don't agree with most Leeds fans. Look, if you can name me a better goalkeeper than Mezier that can get in this team right now, tell me, because until we get to the Premier League, goalkeepers are not cheap. We paid £6 million for Mezier permanently. And you're telling me, and despite all of yes, he had the most goals conceded in one time in the Premier League season, or the vice versa. But pretty much during the career he's had, played over 150 games, most of the games he has been bit better than even Casilla was. And Casilla was making mistakes, and Casilla, look at where Casilla is now. His career's over. So I think the criticism is way over the top. And I think I don't agree with most of these fans. I agree that yes, he could have done better, because but it's also with goalkeepers. We thought we could save that. You're gonna have to save that if you got a very good reaction time, because reaction time is critical for goalkeepers. That's why they do a lot of training on it so much, to try to how to react when if it's a deflected shot or vice versa, because you never know what's going to happen. So I think the criticism's been way over the top, and I think the clubs. I think some. Listen, I'm not proud of most Leeds fans, and I'm not going to lie to you. I think that sometimes they need to have a step back and look at the reality, because why we as humans we expect to be perfectionism. This perfectionism is a bunch of BS. I've learned that now, since I've now taken early retirement because due to my health and my disability, because of my health conditions. It made me look at the bigger picture of life. Of this perfectionism is just way overblown. No one's perfect in this world. We all make mistakes, but like I said, we get on the bandwagon. It's all the time to jump to say, oh, get rid of him. He's not, I don't get certain fans. I really don't. I questioned it so much. It's why I was saying this to my friend, to Anthony and Michael in the Championship group chat, which I will discuss with them tomorrow night on the Championship review about it, because I think it is way over the top, and I think at some point people need to look at the reality of, oh, you think you could do better than that? How can you? What can you do better? All he has to do is probably look. He's made a mistake. He's put his hand up, and I know people criticizing him and him smiling with Levy. if you not realize, Levy was his coach at Laurent Academy where he was coaching before, so he knows Meslier quite well. And yeah, it could have been done behind the tunnel, but I think he was, he felt sorry for him, in a way. So I think the criticism needs to be on off his back for some reason. Needs to be it's a bunch of BS, and it needs to stop going too far, because I know a lot of people don't rate him, but give him the respect, because do you know what? You could look at his records, what he's done. I know there's not good records, but there's some good, decent records. No one's not going to break his record of being the youngest goalkeeper having 10 plus clean sheets. That's never going to be broken for a while, because Joe Hart had that record for such a long time. So I don't think that record is ever going to be broken. But we need to respect him a little bit more, because he's only in his early 20s, early to mid 20s. And to be quite honest with you, I think deep down he's not at his peak yet. He's not at his peak yet of, such as like an Allison or Edison or whatever. People need to get off his back completely, because I think the messaging I've seen on social media has been vile, and it's way over the top. It just shows people don't take a step back with just understand that, because we all have this where we see like a soundbite, we all jump in the bandwagon. It's ridiculous. It really is, But I will talk more about it tomorrow night. And do you know what? I'm not going to defend it from the goal for that goal. Like I said, I'm not going to defend it from the goal for the goal that he conceded towards the end. But you know what? He did have a bad performance until that goal happened. So I think, listen, I'll talk more about this tomorrow, because I think it's frustration as a Leeds fan when I see comments from people, think like, I was speechless when it went in, but you know what? It's life. It's life, and I think people need to move on from that as well. So, yeah, that's my rant on that one. Right, let me go in to see about any team news has come between Liverpool and Crystal Palace as well. No team news as of yet. We should get that in shortly as well. Actually, no, we do have the team news. So Trevor Chalobah makes his debut for Crystal Palace. Ismail Assar makes his first start on the Ulrich Glasner. For Liverpool, Diogo Jota and Cody Gakpo are back in the squad. Kostas Tsimikas comes in along Curtis Jones. So in the Liverpool, for the Crystal Palace 11, Henderson's in goal along with Chalobah, Gray and Lacroix in the back three. Walton, Lerma, Munoz and Mitchell in the midfield four. Sarr, Eddie Nketiah and Eze up front. And for Liverpool, Alisson's in goal, Konate and Van Dijk in the back two, Alexander Arnold, Simscast in the wing backs, Jones McAllister in the defence midfield. We've got Salah, Gravenberg and Gakpo in the midfield, and Diego Jota up front as well. Right, actually, it is coming early to 11:43 as well. So I am going to finish the show off of doing some Premier League predictions. So I gave my predictions as well. I'm going to say about Doug's predictions as well too, because we both had to get in late. Well, not late last night, but so Doug is going for 3-1 Liverpool. I've gone for 2-3-1 as well to Liverpool as well. So I appreciate that everyone. If you want to come in and give your predictions, please give me your predictions for all the Premier League games today. Arsenal, I've gone 5-0 as well to Arsenal. Douglas has done the same. Full house between ourselves, 5-0 to Arsenal. Douglas has gone for Brentford for Wolves. He's gone for Brentford 2-0. I've gone 1-0 for Brentford. I've gone for a Bournemouth win against Leicester, 2-0 win, and Douglas has gone the other way, 2-1 to Leicester today's game. Man City and Fulham, I've gone 3-1 to. I've gone for 3-1 for Fulham. 3-1 to Man City. So is Doug as well. I've gone for West Ham 2-1 against Ipswich later today. I think West Ham needs to get a win, but Douglas is going for a 1-1 draw. Douglas is going for Everton win against Newcastle 2-0. I've gone for 2-1 to Newcastle. And this is a conclusion for us. We've both gone Aston Villa to win against Man United. I've gone for 3-0, and he's gone for 3-1. Chelsea, we've both gone Chelsea win. I've gone for 4-0 win, and he's gone for 2-0 win, and I've gone for a score. Both of us have gone for the same draw between Brighton and Spurs with a 2-2 draw. Absolutely, we've gone for a 2-2 draw. Right. As I said, I finished a lot earlier today because I know with Doug not being around, he'll probably be back on after the international break. Due, so because this is, he's at Comic Con. His dad, this is his birthday present for his dad earlier this year. So, Doug, if you're watching this, have a good time at Comic Con, and we'll hopefully see you in a fortnight's time. But I am going to finish the show off with stuff what's happened tomorrow. I am back on tomorrow night with the championship review of game week 8 of match day 8 between so we'll talk about the games including the Friday night's game and also Sunday's game between Bristol City and Cardiff City as well, and then be back on Tuesday, Wednesday evening to do the rest of the roundup in the Premier League and the EFL Leagues 1 2, and some of the European leagues as well. But please like and share and hit that subscribe button on it, and hit the bell for any upcoming content as well. Really appreciate that. And listen, everyone, have a good weekend, and I will see you guys probably at a late time next Saturday around about 11:30 to do the shorter version of the Saturday show, as it is the international break. We'll focus more on the Leagues 1 and Leagues 2 in England as well. But everyone, have a good weekend. Take it for now. Bye-bye.